Coming. What a joy to see all these friends and faces out there. Brett Raphael is the founding director of the Connecticut Ballet, and I know him just newly because his mother, Dana Raphael, was a beautiful scientist who worked with Margaret Mead and worked with the United Nations in breastfeeding in the third world. He did a lot of great work there. And a mutual friend said, you should meet Brett, and I did, and he came and had lunch, and we said, what a great thing this would be to have Daphne running through all these trees here. So Brett Raphael is your co-host this evening, and the commercial is that people like Big Gary's Wine has given us wine. Falvey's dealership gave us a little contribution. Stop and Shop gave us some sandwiches. The local pizza place, what is that pizza? Nino's Pizza. It's a new place for me. It's right on Route 32, provided some pizza. So we've been very lucky to have this kind of help and contribution. And I'm with the William Meredith Foundation. He was my partner for 34 years. And when the great ones die, they sometimes fall off the planet. We didn't want that to happen to William, so we have a little foundation to keep his legacy alive. There's a wonderful secret garden here in the corner where some of his ashes are buried, and there's a beautiful tree there. He wrote a poem about it called Two Trees. I've had my little wine. I know I'm forgetting some of the people who've been so kind. Nancy Frankel is here. Tim Cummings, who's on our board of directors, is here, gave a generous, very generous contribution. He's with his wife, Sarah Lucas, his partner, Sarah, who's a great painter and has an exhibition over at the Mystic Art Museum right now. I don't know what else to say in terms of so many nice friends here. Nancy Frankel, of course, is here. She's the treasurer for the foundation. So I want to keep it short because we really want to make this a half-hour program. But I'd like to introduce Brett Raphael to speak now, along with Daniel Levanti, who is the husband of our ballerina, or our performance artist playing Daphne. And Harold Blackwood is the professional dancer who will be playing Apollo. I'm going to read, I timed it, it's about 8 minutes from Ovid's Metamorphoses to explain the legend, if you need to know that. So with pleasure, here's Brett Raphael and Daniel Levanti.
Before we go any further, there's a certain birthday this gentleman is just celebrating. Let's sing happy 70th birthday to Richard. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Richard. Happy birthday to you. So this is part of a celebratory weekend for the 70th, and I hear there's more events tomorrow planned. So thank you all for coming. This was all very spontaneous, and unlike most of what I do, which is heavily planned, and ballet being such a performance-prepared art form, this was completely the opposite. We just went in the direction of what a wonderful excuse for a party and a beautiful event on the river. And okay, we put this together in a couple of rehearsals in Stamford, where our studio headquarters is. And Katia, we met, and Daniel was kind enough to come along and help with the technical, and next thing we know we have music, and we went upstairs to the wardrobe shop, and I'll take a little bit of that and a little bit of this and some tulle, and we have a costume. So it's been that kind of spontaneous combustion of a piece. And Harold, a wonderful new dancer with Connecticut Ballet from the National Ballet of Cuba. He's not used to dancing on Mother Earth, nor are any of the ballet people. So this is a new experience. The rake stage, you may know that in Europe the stages are raked, so we may be a little bit used to that, but they're usually going in the other direction. This one's going downhill. Normally they go uphill to the palace. But anyway, we're getting used to it, and it's just a fun thing to do. It's an outdoor experience, and we don't do it too often. So it all came together very organically, and Daniel came up with this extraordinary soundscape. The root music, I should tell you, is by Aram Khachaturian, the Armenian composer, otherwise very well known for the ballet Spartacus, for example, which is about as Russian old school as you can get. And here we have his piano music, very gentle and very unknown to me, and suddenly Katia put it on, and we just started moving together in the studio. Now Katia has many disclaimers. She's not a ballet dancer. She wants that out there right now. She is an improvisational theater artist from Czechoslovakia, has worked throughout Europe and the Middle East, and so this is all new to her. She loves ballet, but she's not inclined to do that, and so we worked with that, and that was an interesting challenge for us to work with her. And sometimes that makes it well, you'll tell me how it feels. It's very organic, and her instinct is she's just a natural mover, and very high strung, so, and very opinionated. And I want to just thank Daniel for his part of this. The music is beautiful. It worked out perfectly, and here we are. So, thank you. On with this. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you both. I forgot to mention Dan Potter, who has a secret role in this evening's event, but he's with the Dragon and the Egg, which is a wonderful theater performance group over on the other side of the river in Ledyard. So, catch my breath here. I wanted to read from Ovid. You'll hear the word Phoebus. Phoebus is, of course, Apollo. And there's a prequel, which I won't read you, but in it, Apollo is kind of teasing Cupid, saying, "What are you doing with that little peanut bow and arrow that you got there? You ought to look at my bow and arrow." And this really infuriates Cupid, so he flies up to Olympus, and he creates a gold arrow, which when it hits you makes you fall in love, and a lead arrow, which when it hits you makes you fall out of love and not want to have anything to do with love. So obviously he hits Apollo with the gold arrow, and Daphne wants nothing to do with Phoebus, Apollo. Phoebus's first love was Daphne. That was the prequel. Now the loved one and the other fled from love's name, taking delight in the depths of the woods, the skins of the wild beasts she caught, emulating virgin Phoebe, a careless ribbon holding back her hair. Many courted her, but she, averse to being wooed, free from men and unable to endure them, roamed the pathless woods, careless of hymen or amor or whatever marriage might be. Her father often said, "Girl, you owe me a son-in-law," and again often, "Daughter, you owe me grandsons." But hating the wedding torch as it smacked of crime, she would blush red with shame all over her beautiful face, and clinging to her father's neck with coaxing arms, she would say, "Dearest father, let me be a virgin forever." Diana's father granted it to her. He yields to that plea, but your beauty itself, Daphne, prevents your wish, and your loveliness opposes your prayer. Phoebus loves her at first sight, and desires to wed her, and hopes for what he desires. But his own oracular powers fail him. As the light stubble of an empty cornfield blazes, as sparks fire a hedge when a traveler by mischance lets them get too close or forgets them in the morning, so the god was altered by the flames, and all his heart burned, feeding his useless desire with hope. He sees her disordered hair hanging about her neck and sighs, What if it were properly dressed? He gazes at her eyes sparkling with the brightness of starlight. He gazes on her lips, where mere gazing does not satisfy. He praises her wrists and hands and fingers and her arms bare to the shoulder. Whatever is hidden he imagines more beautiful, but she flees swifter than the lightest breath of air and resists his words, calling her back again. Wait, nymph, daughter of Peneus, I beg you. I who am chasing you am not your enemy. Nymph, wait. This is the way a sheep runs from the wolf, a deer from the mountain lion, and a dove with fluttering wings flies from the eagle. Everything flies from its foes, but it is love that is driving me to follow you. Pity me. I am afraid you might fall headlong, or thorns undeservedly scar your legs, and I be a cause of grief to you. These are rough places you run through. Slow down. I ask you, check your flight, and I will too slow. At least inquire whom it is you have charmed. I am no mountain man, no shepherd, no rough guardian of the herds and flocks. Rash girl, you do not know, you cannot realize who you run from, and so you run. Delphi's lands are mine. Claros and Tenedos and Patara acknowledges me king. Jupiter is my father. Through me, what was, what is, and what will be are revealed. Through me, strings sound in harmony to my song. My aim is certain, but an arrow truer than mine has wounded my free heart. The whole world calls me the bringer of aid. Medicine is my invention. My power is in herbs. But love cannot be healed by any herb, nor can the arts that cure the others cure their Lord. He would have said more as timid Daphne ran, still lovely to see, leaving him with his words unfinished. The winds bared her body, the opposing breezes in her way fluttered her clothes, and the light airs threw her streaming hair behind her, her beauty enhanced by flight. But the young god could no longer waste time on further blandishments. Urged on by amour, he ran on at full speed, like a hound of Gaul starting a hare in an empty field that heads for its prey, she for safety. He, seeming about to clutch her, thinks now or now. He has her fast, grazing her heels with his outstretched jaws, while she, uncertain whether she is already caught, escaping his bite, spurts from the muzzle, touching her. So the virgin and the god, he driven by desire, she by fear. He ran faster, amour giving him wings, and allowed her no rest, hung on her fleeing shoulders, breathed on the hair flying around her neck. Her strength was gone. She grew pale, overcome by the effort of her rapid flight, and seeing Peneus's waters near, cried out, "Help me, Father. If your streams have divine power, change me, destroy this beauty that pleases too well." Her prayer was scarcely done when a heavy numbness seized her limbs. Thin bark closed over her breast. Her hair turned into leaves, her arms into branches. Her feet, so swift a moment ago, stuck fast in the slow-growing roots. Her face was lost in the canopy. Only her shining beauty was left. Even like this, Phoebus loved her, and placing his hand against the trunk, he felt her heart still quivering under the new bark. He clasped the branches as if they were parts of human arms and kissed the wood. But even the wood shrank from his kisses, and the god said, "Since you cannot be my bride, you must be my tree. Laurel, with you my hair will be wreathed, with you my lyre, with you my quiver. You will go with the Roman generals when joyful voices acclaim their triumph, and the Capitol witnesses their long processions. You will stand outside Augustus's doorposts, a faithful guardian, and keep watch over the crown of oak between them. And just as my head, with its uncropped hair, is always young, so you also will wear the beauty of undying leaves. Paean had done. The laurel bowed her newly made branches and seemed to shake her leafy crown like a head giving consent. That's Ovid's metamorphosis.